Hey ISEC, my name is Brodie, and I've been asked to speak briefly about what ISEC 2010 means to me. In order to really explain what ISEC 2010 means to me, I need to give you a brief picture of the state that the organization was in back in 2005 when the vision was developed. In 2005, ISEC had just finished a 5-year change process where, started by the vision of ISEC 2005, which was created back in 1999, we had been going and redesigning different aspects of the ISEC system. This resulted in a few kind of at the time, very controversial things in the organization. One was this whole idea of the ISEC experience, where we would combine the learning experience of members and exchange participants into one integrated development experience supported by a excellent learning environment, a real intense learning environment, and including things like learning networks, which Arthur can tell you a tad about. Another aspect of the kind of change process was focus on getting better quality people, creating an organization that has a culture of excellence. And then a third aspect that came out of this change process was creating a global brand where we actually use the same messaging and things like that throughout the world. Now, these three things were quite controversial in 2002, 3, etc. And they were tested in different local chapters, making sure that they didn't blow up when they tried to implement the ISEC experience and so on. And by the time we got to 2004, a lot of countries had implemented them. And we needed to make a break from still focusing on implementation, which was very important in its time, and taking that next step to performing as an organization, assuming that that was simply the way that ISEC worked. And so we needed to make a shift from implementation to execution. ISEC 2010, I think, provided the kind of main, as well as the change of the identity, which now you call the ISEC way, provided that main shift where we no longer had to talk about, is this the way we do ISEC? It was simply the way we did ISEC, and we just had to perform. I think that was the first big thing that ISEC 2010 did as a vision. Now, obviously, the most important thing that it did was the results that it's created since. And there's a few things that for me are really, really exciting. One is the fact that in the rapidly expanding network component of the vision, we articulated our desire to actually expand ISEC, which had been something which, as an organization, we had been reluctant to do in previous years. 2005, we kicked off an expansion strategy, and now you're in regions of the world which ISEC was never in before. You're in a whole bunch more countries, and you're bringing ISEC to a whole bunch more students who then bring their own perspectives, their own views of the world to ISEC. Another thing was the results in terms of the exchange growth that it's created. The fact, and I almost don't want to say it, but the fact that you are almost close to achieving the 8,000 exchange mark, and it's very, very realistic, very possible if you continue to do the good work that you've been doing over the past number of years, it's very possible for us to achieve that, is remarkable. Take it from someone who lived through a time in ISEC where we had this bold vision and didn't achieve it. How important is it? How inspiring would it be for ISEC to achieve those goals? One thing we did with ISEC 2010 was provide some specific goals right after we created the vision, just at following IPM, and an implementation framework to achieve them. So we didn't have to wait, like happened in the previous change process, before kind of realizing that we needed to change things. And so the fact that you were so close to potentially achieving ISEC 2010 gives me shivers, and that is what means the most to me. And so the final thing I would say is that I think the organization has really done something exceptional over the past few years. The Soviets weren't able to achieve their 5-year plans. And ISEC, with a turnover of almost 100% each year, is getting close to achieving hits. And you're the generation which is going to do it. You know, your teams at this IC are the ones that are going to see it through. The work you do in your countries, the work you do in your local committees when you get home will be those final steps towards the achievement of ISEC 2010, of those goals. And in achieving that, you will create the most inspiring message, a sense of incredible possibility to future generations of ISEC, that they can dream something so ambitious, so aspirational, that they can stick goals to it, that they can plan around it, they can work towards it year after year, marching towards it, and that they can achieve it. And so I want to thank, you know, the PIs that will speak after me, who've done, you know, the real hard work here, and the entire organization for making all us old dudes really, really proud of ISEC. Thanks.